Turn the lights back on. Wow. Retro electro tech. When real audio ruled the world.
Hello once again, this is Ernest with Retro Electro Tech, and on the Retro Bench I have the Moog Sonic 6 Duophonic Analog Synthesizer manufactured from 1972 to 1979. This unit came to me for extensive function testing and an overall thorough inspection, as well as cosmetic detailing. I'll be breaking the process up into a few video segments to make things more digestible for those who care to roll with me as I bring this vintage synth up to speed. The Moog does power up and produce sound. Thank you, Retrobot, for that sound demo. It's nice to have an assistant.
You are welcome.
However, I have several very scratchy, even intermittent variable resistors, including this master volume control. Sure you can hear that. As well, I have a dead key. Probably just a contact issue, I'm sure. And some of the other keys give me some noise and intermittent cutting out, which I believe is attributed to dirty contacts once again. So, I need to continue with my preliminary function testing of the electronics and go through all of these modules on the face of the synth here. Of course, in the interest of time and tedium, I'm going to do the bulk of such testing off camera. As far as the electronics are concerned, I'll cover more information in the following video segments as I dive in further. I may encounter functions that are non-op or not operating in spec, but I'll cross that bridge if I end up there. I will, however, be testing various components to be sure nothing has drifted unacceptably out of value, of course. And again, due to the age of this unit, it should undergo a complete electrolytic recap if it is populated with the originals or otherwise old E-caps. Okay, cosmetically, I need to source some slider buttons here, here, and here. Additionally, I have some screws missing. You know, there's one here, one over here, one up top, another one up top here, and there's another one over on the far right over here, and other miscellaneous spots. So I need to get everything matched up perfect. I want to get screws that look as close to original as possible. Obviously original knobs. I don't want to mix and match anything like a hack. Also too, I'm going to zoom in on something. There's this foam rubber liner here. It's almost like a neoprene material that needs to be straightened out. You know, on account of these missing screws as well, it sort of keys me into the fact that somebody removed the face here, and when they put it back, bunched up this foam rubber liner, and that's the case on both sides. Okay, there's also this speaker grill cloth that's pushed in that I need to repair as well. Oh, also a couple more of these missing slider knobs here, and down here there's a missing knob off of this potentiometer. Here's yet another missing slider knob and another missing screw here. I also need to check into the spacing between the keyboard and the housing here. You notice this gap, and then it decreases. Okay, so I need to check as to whether or not I'm going to have to reform this plastic housing to get the spacing where it needs to be. Also too, you can see that there's some keys here that need to be aligned, and this whole key bed here needs to be leveled off properly. Same thing here. You can see I have some some leveling ahead of me. Okay, so cosmetically there's nothing major going on, but we can't have missing screws, missing knobs, keys that are all cattywampus, you know, the material over there and over there that's, you know, all squashed into the face panel, and everything needs to be matching, you know, right down to the screws. Of course, I want original knobs on there. Yeah, everything nice and level. And of course, it goes without saying, electronically, it's my job to get this thing working to factory spec, but I want to get this thing looking as close to factory spec as possible. This is just a quick update, a part 2, I suppose, as to what is taking place with the 1973 Moog Sonic 6. As is evident, the keyboard / keybed is in a partial state of disassembly for the purpose of, number 1, a thorough cleaning of the dirt and grime that has made a home here for about, well, almost 5 decades now. Number 2, I had to polish the bus and contact wires with swabs and contact cleaner. In the previous video, when I was conducting the evaluation, I mentioned that there was a dead key, and there was also some keys that were a bit noisy and intermittent. This was really oxidized down here, all this area here. As well, I had to make some adjustments to achieve proper distances between contact wires and, again, this bus rod here. And I also checked this, the values of this resistor string here, and everything reads as it should. Okay, back to the top side of the keyboard here. I performed some preliminary leveling of the keys and got them all looking good. However, I decided to pull the keys from the hammers, if you will, to perform a thorough cleaning of the keys, since I will also be changing all the rubber key bushings. As you're about to hear, there's a difference between keys that are properly cushioned by the rubber key bushings that are still somewhat intact, and a few here on the keyboard that are not. Now let me demonstrate. See, that's not too bad there. Then you start getting kind of clanky there. And that's pretty bad. And that's just awful. So yeah, we can't have a clankety clank factory going on here. Therefore, I have to order the 49 bushings and get those installed. As I install the bushings, I'm also going to clean the dirt and grime down in there that's sitting on the bottom of the key bed. Once I get the first wave of work done on the keyboard top side and key bed, I'll do a final tweaking of key leveling and contact adjustments as needed. Now onto the circuit boards here. I've been looking everything over and all looks very nice. Again, a very well made electronic instrument, nicely laid out, high quality components. It was done right. So, other than a complete inspection in terms of contacts, connectivity, and overall component integrity, I'll be getting everything cleaned up here, including VRs, pots, switches. The electrolytic caps need to go, as previously mentioned. Key component values will be checked and component testing will be performed as needed. Once I'm satisfied all checks out, I'll get everything reassembled for the final testing processes and electrical adjustments, so stay tuned. Hello again, this is Ernest with Retro Electro Tech, and what I have on the bench is some chemistry that I'm going to use to produce some missing plastic slider knobs, these here, from the 1973 Moog Sonic 6 duophonic synthesizer that I've been working on. Now, I've tried to hold out for quite some time to source these 6 missing knobs from, you know, the net, you know, other sources. I've called around. They're just not available at this time. Now, these 2 chemicals here are for the silicone mold, and these 2 casting compounds are the black liquid plastic for the part itself, and this is just some spray that helps prevent the part sticking to the mold sticking to the part, whatever. So I've done this before with other chemistry from, you know, way back. It's just something that's par for the course. When dealing with old stuff, you're going to have missing parts and some broken, some just missing. So anyways, that's where I'm at right now with this process for the 1973 Moog Sonic 6. I just wanted to sort of detour and show you where I am right now. I also have several other projects taking place that I'm not filming, of course, because I just don't have the time. Okay, Retrobot here is working on casting the missing slider knobs. Of course, I have him wearing his gloves so he doesn't get exposed to nasty chemistry and start glowing in the dark. We've been working on these for maybe a handful of days, off and on, of course. We have to pour one knob, let it dry, cure, all that good stuff, and then move on to whatever else. And of course, I've had a few pretty pressing repairs come into the lab over the last handful of days or so that I had to divert my attention to. So I don't mind coming back to this. The Moog is not a rush job. It doesn't mean that I'm dragging my tail, but at the same time, there's been a lot going on, even with the Moog itself. Hunting down some parts, including these knobs, before I decided to cast them, and doing the electronics, the keyboard, keybed assembly, getting that all straightened out, and the other cosmetic issues. But it's all coming along good. The reason why I'm using a single impression mold to begin with is because, well, I only had that one knob, and again, I was lucky to even have that. And yeah, I could have produced multiple molds and poured all the knobs at one time in those multiple molds. But either way, it would have taken time and quite a bit of silicone to do. And on the bench once again is the keybed chassis from the 1973 Moog Sonic 6. In the last video I made regarding this synth, I believe I mentioned that I had to thoroughly clean the dirt and oxidation from all the contact wires and main bus on the underside, which turned out to be responsible for some dead notes, as well as some that were noisy and intermittent. Additionally, I had to align many of the contacts and make sure that all the resistors on the underside were within value. They were just fine. So I'll post a link to that video somewhere below, probably in the comments section, in case there are those of you out there that want to check that out at some point. On the top side here, there was a lot out of alignment as well, and although I started to realign the really bad keys, I knew I'd end up having to pull everything off to replace the key bushings which install on these posts here, if you will, and they had become just really deteriorated and brittle, and that resulted in several clankety keys. So anyways, here's the old bushings in their former glory, and I had to really scrape them off with a razor. They've been on there a long time, right? So here's the 49 fresh key bushings that, once installed, should really quiet things down, cushion everything real nice. So anyway, one thing I want to mention too, when I pull all the keys and hammers off of the keybed chassis, there's quite an accumulation of hair and fuzz, and although I got the bulk of it out of there, obviously there's still all that residual there that I'm going to clean up when the time is right. So yeah, it's like it was being played on an alpaca farm or something, when they were shearing alpacas, and hey, alpacas love music too, right? So why not? But anyways, I'll get this thing all, situated, put back together, and finalize the leveling of the keys and get everything, nice and spot on.
This is a poor man's shoe production.